maybe? Yeah, okay. We go.
Let's see if I can get that should work. You want the cave. Restart my stupid controller drivers. Whoa, tweaking nonsense.
Well, I'm wearing two different sets of I've got one headset around my neck for my mic and an earphone in because my speakers were too loud. And OBS, hitbox dashboard. Plot is happening. I'll shut up. I have arrived in Gloom Town. It's not actually called Gloom Town, but
Looks more like Blight Town to me. That's
I remember now. This is not actually happening. Have fun with that.
Oh, I have like a very overpowered sword. I am going to have a lot of fun with this.
Actually, you've pretty much done, because you're on like level 9, did you say?
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
just running low on supplies. And I was also running low on supplies, but I got a new sword to help with that.
And I have woken up from that dream that neatly represented the end of the plot of Disc 2, where Nene just completely owns us in every possible way. And now I am in this town where everything is crap and falling down for some reason.
Item. Hold. Metal.
So yeah, end of Disc 2, we go to rescue Kluk, who Nene has kidnapped, because of course the villain has to kidnap the girl at some point. And we confront Nene, and he steals the shadow power, which is what just happened. And this is where we end up, somehow. Having been thrown out of his death egg.
Oh god, cave spiders.
That's a thing.
あんた3日もゴーゴー眠りっぱなしだったんだよ。3日？村のそばでさ、行き倒れてたんだよ。みんなはどこ？もう目が覚めてるよ。さっき広場で見たけどね。みんな心配してたよ。あんただけ目覚まさないからさ。女の子なんか泣いちゃってね。
広場だね。そうだ。村って言ったよね。なんて村？
イートの村って言うんだよ。
Oh, that's right. The name of the village, the gloomy village that I've arrived in, is Devon.
助けてくれてありがとう。
Wow.
Playable.
Everywhere else has kind of standardish fantasy names, but this one's just called Devour Village.
Item.
Which I do wonder how that came out of the translation. But this game does have a slightly wonky translation in places. Can I inspect that vase? No.
Nothing.
What use is a vase in this game if I can't search it for nothings?
Hold. Nothing.
I must collect all the nothing to rid the world of nothing.
Playable.
Okay.
Nothing.
Can I examine the plant tentacle? No.
Acquired the combo counter. What?
Nothing.
What is that item?
It's exactly what it says on the tin.
Item.
Oh, that's nice. Turn it on or off in the customize menu. This is such a weird game.
Well, I don't like. Something I want to look up actually is whether that, and there's another item later on. You're playing on the PlayStation version, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there's another item later on, which is the item that turns it into fighting game style controls, where every art is a combination of button presses, rather than setting arts like you do in modern Tales games. And what I want to look up with that is whether that's how it worked in the original game, or whether the original game had the combo system as the default. So it was more like a fighting game.
I'm pretty sure it's what became of like the Star Ocean is what came of the original, where it was based on distance and whether you held the button.
Ah, right.
Oh, and now I get bonuses for having max hit things for having the combo counter on.
Really? Because I didn't bother with it at all, because I knew I wasn't going to score any combos, but
Yeah, it got me bonus experience and gold.
god damn. Anyway, have a look at this tree. And can you guess what the next boss is going to be?
God.
When this game decides to go for like a less cheery visual style, it does not mess around. And what I'm trying to do is avoid triggering whatever cutscene is coming up with the rest of the characters until I have searched the place.
Until you've drained all of the nothing. Oh, that's fire. That's bad.
Fire bad.
It didn't actually hurt much. Okay, whatever. I'll take that. I'll take those hits. Also, a thing that I didn't appreciate until like playing this is how Petrify can be mitigated in Zestiria with blocking.
Oh?
Because you can do the same thing in Fantasia.
How do you mean?
There are like basilisks. They're called gaze hounds, and if they hit you with their like eye beam attack, they'll petrify you. But if you're blocking, it won't.
Oh right. Yeah, gotcha.
Gold. Nothing.
Can I search the graves? I can search the graves.
Gold.
That's grim.
That's a little morbid.
Yeah, like something that I've been saying throughout this is that the searching shouldn't be interpreted literally in this game.
Nothing.
And whatever the politics of that are, I don't think they're terribly good, but it's clearly meant to.
Nothing.
It's more about kind of trying to structure how you move through the spaces than it is about the
Nothing.
idea that
Nothing.
like you should when you arrive in a new place in an adventure you should immediately loot it until it's completely drained. It's a way of kind of
Item.
getting you to pay attention to every item in a space,
Metal.
but also it's morbid that you look at all these graves and each one of them gives you 10 gold for looking at it. particularly, like, most of the game very much seems to be about the experience of childhood. But this section kind of isn't, because it's much bleaker than the idea of childhood that's at work in most of the rest of the game.
Oh, we just found
Nothing. Nothing.
I'm at the bottom of Moria Mine. I flipped the lever and a teleporter appeared. And there's like signposts telling you where the 4 main spirits are.
Handy.
It's cute because like I've gotten 3 of the spirits, and Clarth is talking about them. And the one I don't have, and Dean is he's just like, okay, I guess we should talk to one of the captains and get a ride to her island.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
Nothing.
What's this other teleporter go to?
Metal.
Oh,
Teleporters in that game are
an ancient tablet? Ooh.
Nothing.
teleporters in that game are a bit of a pain in the arse sometimes.
Nothing.
Hi Sam, yeah, by all means jump in voice. Like, this is fairly chill stuff.
Yeah, this is why we're in general and not in the recording booth, which is
Item.
like, hello,
Hello, is this working?
Yep,
hello, yep.
you're live.
Hi.
Hi Sam.
Hello, guys.
Oh man, I just primal elven lore, and this stone slab
Item.
reads like one of the puzzles in Belikov Mausoleum in Symphonia.
What are you playing?
Fantasia.
Oh, Fantasia.
Oh, that's a nice touch.
How is that game so far?
It's pretty good. It's an old game, so it kind of has that baggage, but it's very similar to newer Tales games in a lot of ways too.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about that when we do the episode on it. Like, because I was surprised by how familiar it felt. I just want to note for my stream, like, the inn here costs 6 gold, which is like gold, or whatever the currency is, which is a quarter what inns everywhere else have cost.
Is that like a statement?
Yeah, it's definitely there to show you, well, this town is shit, so the inn is going to be really cheap. No, seriously, this town is shit. I mean, look at it.
I've stayed in shit places and probably paid a bit more than a quarter.
Well, yeah, but, like, this is...
God, no, that looks terrible.
Yeah, and here's the next
You're
boss,
basically paying for the roof over your head.
which leaks.
Yeah, well, you're paying for them to be able to keep the roof over their head.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there is like backstory to this place that I haven't, the game I haven't got to in the game yet. But it's basically here because we're at the low point of the story. Like, I just finished the climax of Disc 2 yesterday,
Nothing.
and Nene completely owned us.
Wow.
And he left us stranded in this village. And now we have to rebuild ourselves.
Is it like a sort of in true like kids movie fashion where like two people are really disappointed in each other so they all split off? Or
No, at the moment, and the reason that Shu is alone at the moment is just that he was the last one to wake up. Like, we were found passed out outside this village, and like, Shu for some reason slept 3 times longer than everybody else and has been asleep for 3 days.
because he's a Japanese role-playing game protagonist? They always sleep in.
Well, partly, but actually there is a reason for it, which is that like he
Nothing.
is the last one standing
Gold.
in the confrontation with Nene, and there are reasons why he's extra knackered, basically. And now we're finally getting the theme of the Valon story, which is that the true something was the friends we made along the way. The true magic was the friends we made along the way, pretty much.
Oh.
Wow, this sword I bought for 60,000 gold
Nothing.
is really gonna pay its worth because I already got like 20,000 back from killing monsters. Oh
Wow.
man, this is a really good sword. Capitalism ho.
So, like, is it just so that you're being able to kill everything so fast now?
Yeah. Not to mention I fought a bunch of tough stuff, and like some encounters are just really packed full of money enemies.
Nothing.
Like the gargoyle type enemies are also always really carrying a lot of money.
Right, so I don't need any of these spells, although Kellalon can be quite fun. Have you seen that FF15 is going to have frog status again? I am so pleased.
I've heard about frog.
Yep, in the active time report, they actually showed a clip of a frog animated, and then Tabata explained, yeah, this is we've animated a frog because you're going to get turned into a frog.
Is it just an animation of just a generic frog?
Like what they showed is just a frog, but like the reason they showed it is because they're putting
Item.
frog status in the game, like in like FF10, FF9's frog status. Sorry?
I'd like to see them all have like the haircuts.
Oh god, that would be amazing. Particularly with how, like, just Noctis's hair is the most,
Item.
like, stereotype Final Fantasy hair.
Oh, of course. Just seeing that on a frog.
It would be like the Kirby Bayonetta crossover from Bayo in Smash, which is also an excellent thing that I am entirely in favour of.
Yeah,
Never.
I think I might at some point buy a DLC character of Smash. Bayonetta's
Gold.
pretty cool.
Nothing.
Do I need more items? Not really.
Ones visible to the naked eye are called Silverant and Tetheala.
Yep,
Nothing.
because like
Nothing.
there's some very very close relationship
Nothing.
between this game and
Nothing.
Symphonia, but I don't know Symphonia well enough to tease it out.
Symphonia is a far-flung prequel.
Is it actually canonically that?
Yeah.
Okay, that
Symphonia
explains.
is the only Tales game that I've actually finished.
Gold.
You should finish some more Tales games, although Symphonia is good.
Although it was okay.
Metal. Item.
I
Nothing.
I think I enjoyed it enough to pick up other Tales games. So, yeah.
Yeah, like, among other things, Yggdrasil is the name given to the world tree that germinates at the end of Symphonia. And Martel is the goddess that resides in it
Nothing.
and takes care of it, and she makes an appearance in Fantasia.
Yeah. Is this the house I came? No, because there's chest unopened.
Gold. Gold.
somebody should try to get
Item.
a ludocentric academic to do
Gold.
a detailed analysis of
Gold.
object placement in this game,
Nothing.
because it would keep the entirety of ludocentrism occupied for about a year, trying to tease it out.
Nothing.
They'd make less fuss at us.
Nothing.
Oh my
Nothing.
god, there are 2 NPCs in this castle. One of them is like, oh man, the music in the castle should be something new age. And if you talk to him, he just speeds it up a hell of a lot. And then if you talk to this old man, he's just like, it needs to be more delicate and solemn, and it slows it back down if you talk to him.
That's amazing.
That's so nonsense. It's great.
Brilliant.
Item.
Have you met Sakurabi
I
yet?
love that guy.
Yeah.
Wait, he's
Nothing.
in the he's actually in the game.
Yeah, in the capital city,
Drunk.
there's a bar, and if you go into the bar, the bar's piano player is leaning on the bar, and his name is Sakuraba.
Huh.
And he goes, my rhythm's better when I'm tipsy anyway. And
More
he's
appropriate
actually,
as like an organ.
And you do find yourself wondering,
it's actually important for like
Wow.
oh
using
yeah,
your password to get into a cave.
that's right, it gives you the clue, doesn't it? You do wonder whether, like, Sakuraba wrote that, or one of the people who had to work with Sakuraba wrote it. Should I inspect this tree?
Maybe someone lost a bet or something.
Possibly. Ow.
Oh man, this dwarf just mentioned, or this short man, I guess, just mentioned Magi technology, which is a thing in Symphonia.
That's right. I was going to crack an FF6 joke, but you'd have fired me into the sun.
I've barely played Final Fantasy VI actually.
I played like the first third of it long ago, and I think I lost interest shortly before it gets good, what I've heard.
Yeah, that's apparently, like, I got to a point where I had to go chase after Kefka with 3 parties, and I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
See, yeah, I get, like, I've started that game so many times. It's kind of like I've played probably about, like, 10 hours of Final Fantasy VI and the amount of times I've just started that game and never gone back to it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's probably lack of focus at the time as well, to be fair.
Well, I mean, these days it's quite different to the kind of experience you expect going to a JRPG. For all that it's the classic quintessential standard of JRPGs. It's very different to the kind of JRPGs that we played.
Oh my god, I just
Item.
found the lady who sells the magic books, and I'm gonna buy Tractor Beam, Thunderblade, Thunder Sword, and Thunder Beam. So many thunders.
Uh-huh.
Thunder!
Gold.
Just get the
4,000 for
ACDC
Tractor
solo.
Beam.
Nothing.
Yeah, they aren't cheap.
Item. Item.
You're gonna get. I'm gonna buy all these crazy magic. Oh, they're
Nothing.
expensive.
And I went to buy another one, and she's like, oh, wait, shit, I don't actually have that one, I sold it already.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Such a pain in the ass. Thunderblade. 12,000 gold! Oh no!
That sounds like a lot of money.
That was the most Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged series voice I have ever heard outside of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series. What the heck?
I haven't watched it.
If you not, you should watch it. It's a good time.
Maybe I should. I've got too many friends that probably quote it. I don't know if they are. That's the thing.
Well, they're either quoting that or like Naruto Abridged and similar things. It's bits of it are quite
Dragon Ball Z
quotable.
Abridged is the one.
Is there a Dragon Ball one now? I haven't seen the Dragon
It's
Ball
been
one.
for ages.
They've all been around for ages, but
Dragon Ball's-
I think the Yu-Gi-Oh! One was first.
Yeah, I heard of the Yu-Gi-Oh! One first, and then I heard of Dragon Ball Z Abridged. out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Original. Oh god, like it's been around since like 2005ish.
Well, I had friends among whom it was a meme in like 2006 to 8, so yeah. Particularly the musical episode, or quasi-musical episode. I can still quote embarrassing amounts of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, actually. I should be fully honest about it.
No, that's fair. Started in 2006. Apparently.
Nothing.
That sounds about right.
Nothing. Item.
I think because I remember hearing it about it when, well,
Item.
how old was I then? Maybe about 13, 14.
Nothing.
Dear Christ, you're all so young and I hate you. For reference, I was in my second year of university at the time.
Oh, right. You can't help the passage of time and some people just being younger.
No, but I can damn well be bitter about it.
Nothing. Nothing.
I guess it's time
Cold.
to find a sailor
Nothing.
that will take me to the eroded grotto.
Item. Nothing.
After
Cold.
that, I can probably
Cold.
go back to Mario Mine and try and get Maxwell.
Gold.
Yep,
Nothing. Nothing.
at least I think so. It's now been 2 and a bit games since I finished Fantasia, even though it was only 3 weeks ago.
If I were to start Tales of Fantasia, which is a good version?
PlayStation.
PlayStation.
There's a pre-patched version that runs fine in EPSXE.
That's cool. Not the iOS free-to-play version. That is what was taken down actually.
There was an iOS free-to-play version? What?
There was an iOS free-to-play version, and it sounds like the worst thing.
How the hell, of all games in the world, did Tales of Fantasia...
Play advance board.
It's what they basically did is they put the game on like almost its hardest difficulty level, and put like a load of XP boosts as microtransactions.
Oh.
And, they also took out save points as well. Not all of them, but they took out a few save points.
Ye gods.
Yep.
Alright, I found a captain who would take me to the eroded grotto, and I got a long blue ribbon because the docks in this game have a load of treasure for no reason. I
And
love
crabs.
it. There's like an abandoned dock just like next to Belladam.
Yep.
And there's a shit ton of stuff there. It's really good.
Yeah. By the way,
I-
did you just, like, with that crab that you can't get past, that there's a chest on the other side of, did you just kind of lure it to move out of the way?
I waited because it's just pure RNG.
Oh my god, you have saintly patience.
And save states, but
Well, okay. But, still.
みんな
yeah.
シュー
Oh, this guy's so. Oh, that is very.
みんな
very
大丈夫なのか
シューこそ
Perfect.
大丈夫か
There's a guy selling foodstuffs in the ship.
俺は
And
大
he's
丈
just
夫
selling bread, rice, and
なあ
seaweed.
ゾロは来て
Sounds
ないの
about
か
right.
It's a fucking boat. Also, there's a
なんだ
cat
って
behind
ゾ
the
ラだもん
counter.
きっとうまく脱出してるわよ
Good.
案外ジブラル王のとこに戻ってたりしてね
そっか
シューどうやってネネの元から脱出できたんだ
あれは夢
I
じゃ
love
ない
how
わ
you're
よね
always allowed to like
私
rest
たち
in.
ネネに潰されそうになってて
Yeah, well, it,
夢じゃな
yeah,
いよ
there are places you can kind of get stuck.
ジロ
Anyway, in Blue Dragon we are currently figuring out what happened, which is that the whole Blue Dragon power thing was us incubating this power that Nene wanted to use as a medicine because he was afraid of aging forever, because he's immortal and is like all the reason for his evil has been to motivate us to grow strong, so that our shadows would grow strong, so that he could eat our shadows.
もう
And
魔
now we
法
don't
は
have
使
magic
えない
anymore.
の用が済んだのに
Rather vampire.
なんでこれまだ
Yeah,
働い
pretty
てる
much.
の
それが
And
使えたんだ
not to mention magic, but like weren't like all of your attacks?
必死でよくわからなかったけど 使えたんだよ
Like so all
そ
of
のお
your
かげでみんなを連れて脱出で
capabilities
きた
are
んだ
kinda reduced.
Yep. There's going to be a very amusing boss fight in not
あ
very
の
long.
時俺逃げようって思ったんだ
There's
この俺がだぜ
there's a really annoying part I remember in the first Shadow Hearts game. It's very sort of similar.
So
Reminds me of that. Where
諦
it
め
takes
たんだ
away your
よな
ability to use abilities and items.
ジロ
Well, there's a bit in
That
FF12.
game,
分かったよ
Sorry, go on.
yeah, but
諦め
Shadow
たり
Hearts
逃
has
げ
a
たりっ
sanity
て
point system.
別に悪いことじゃないんだ
You lose one sanity
今
point
逃
per
げるの
turn,
は
and if it
明
runs
日勝
out,
つためなんだよな
you go berserk.
そういう作戦なんだってさ
And one of the characters has like about 5 or 6 sanity points.
Wow.
So, yeah, you gotta,
負
like,
けねえっていつもそれだけじゃダメなんだって
I just fought giant
分
squids.
かったんだ
I love JRPGs.
I swear I fought like 50 billion giant squids in those kinds of games.
Yep.
It's usually krakens.
Yeah. Oh my god, starfish too.
Well, that's a Tales staple. Starfish.
I love the starfish.
Yeah.
I think my first encounter with any idea of what the kraken was in Golden Sun.
That boss fight is so good. Because
Yeah.
like it's just like we're probably gonna get some shit from monsters and you're just like, oh, just the little ones, and then the boss comes, you're just like, oh no, that's a big monster.
I got stuck on that guy for ages.
It's tough.
I thought I had to go to the centre of the village next and poke the tree again, but apparently not. Apparently I have to go out into the scary forest first, because I heard a scream.
Ooh,
And here we're going to find out
Phoenix.
just how hopeless I am now. And this guy's toast. Oh no, his axe is toast.
嘘だー火が斧より強いなんて世の中間違ってい
Can I sure he's stronger than an axe?
ああ間違ってるよこの村はね
World altering revelations.
俺たちはあの木に飼われてるのさ
That's totally a scheme that Nene would use.
あいつの餌なのよ村の真ん中にある人食いの木のね
There's
人
a
食いの
flesh-eating
木
tree in the middle of it. Dude,
あんたたち
wow.
も生き倒れになるにしちゃまずいところで倒れてたもんだ。だいたいどこからこの村に入り込んだんだ？
This sounds definitely like a horrible place.
こっちが聞き
Come
たい
visit
ぐらいで
this
ね
place with the
か
flesh-eating
わいそう
tree.
に。自分の運命を乗
Well, in fairness, this is where Nene
人食いの
dumped
木は
us
年に何回か
after we
村の人間を
escaped
捕まえ
from
て食っちまうとんでもない化け物さ。
I'm sure
村の
there
外
will
に出
be
ようとしても
some
この通り
kind of tourist
根っ
that
こ
would
に
be
捕まって
interested
出
in
られ
this
やし
place.
ねえ。根っこをぶった切ろうとしてもこのありさまだ。
まさか
これもネネが
And of course, Nene is responsible for this because Nene is literally responsible for all evil in this world because it's a vaguely retro nodding JRPG.
It's like the world is his playground or testing field or one of those things.
Well, I mean, the point is really that the antagonist of this game does not exist to be an antagonist. The antagonist of this game, or to be a character with well-rounded motivations or anything, he exists to be the villain because this is the kind of story that has to have a villain.
あんたたち、
Yeah.
そこに近づいちゃダメだよ。
だけどこいつ人食いの木なんだろ。やっつけなきゃ。
Oh my god, sea slugs.
ダメだったら。
For like there's six of them, and they're tiny.
魔法は
They are really annoying, those tiny little enemies.
できるかも。
なんでさっきできなかった。
ネネと戦った時には使えたんだ。
So that boss fight I mentioned that was going to be painful. Also check the tree out when it's awake. And poke.
Oh my god.
Yep. And now he's going to poison me. It's actually genuinely something I like about this game, is it being willing to do this. Like, because when you start the game, the first thing you do is fight the land shark, which is vastly more powerful. You're hitting it for like 1 damage, and it's just killing you. And I do like it when games are prepared to just represent total disempowerment in their mechanics. And I think this game uses it quite well as well. The difficulty is well chosen to represent the story structure. The story structure is very simple, so it dovetails nicely with a difficulty curve. But anyway, I was rescued from being eaten by the tree.
仕方ないんだよ。あの木が枯れるのをあたしらは待つしかない。どうにもならないからね。あの木があることを無視して生きていくしかないよ。
Anyway, the thing is that this is a town full of people who are resigned to their fate. Which has always been like the antithesis of Shu's character. Who is convinced that his determination is sufficient to anything. And in fairness, his determination has already once been sufficient to enable them to fly for no reason. Which happens in like about an hour into the game. Where do I go this time? Oh, listen to the sounds the tree makes if you go near it. Save point.
おい、すぐに宿屋に行け。お仲間、ほらあの女の子、突然倒れて運び込まれた。
And something's still wrong with Gloom.
クルックが
Playable.
Yeah, well, she's the girl in a JRPG, so some shit's got to happen to her. At least she doesn't have to just be the healer in this game. Like, by default, she's not the healer at all. Which of these buildings was the inn? I think it was this one. That tree's growling at me again. Is a sentence you don't expect to say very often.
No, it's not.
ああ、お前か。聞いたと思うが、あの子急に倒れて運び込まれたんだ。早く奥に行ってやりな。
Playable.
Let's see what else you can do. Yeah, that's what I was.
シュウ、
クルック
クルック。すごい熱なんだ。ひどくうなされてて。
が嫌な夢見てるんだ。
Those are definitely some bad dreams.
クルック。
来ないで。どうしてそんなにひどいことばかりするの。やめて。
ネネのこと夢に見てるのかな。
Probably gonna wanna
そういえばその時のこと何も言わないな、クルック。
こんな役に立たない指輪。ダメだよ。だってこれやっ
For
ぱりお
backstory,
守り
the
になっ
ring
てない。
is one made by Shu
ネネに捕まって
in
た
order
時
to
のことで
keep Luke
一
safe.
つだけ言ってくれたことがあるんだ。
Shu and Jiro both made
指輪があったから僕たちにまた会えるって
in a
信じる
random
ことがで
minigame.
きたって。
魔法を使えたらな。
So now I have to wander off and find the next plot trigger without any real guidance of what to do. I have this vague recollection that one of the plot... Oh, by the way, it is now night. You can tell this because it's slightly darker and the moons are in the sky. Although everything still has a shadow. There's no real explanation for why it's so gloomy all the time here, but like, it's a JRPG. The colour palette is going to change from town to town. That's part of the representational
like-
framework.
It's not necessarily like
Checkpoint.
part of like necessarily being a JRPG, but it's storytelling methods, I guess.
Well, it's a very video game thing, but I think JRPGs, and particularly more cartoony JRPGs like this one, go very hard on it.
Yeah. But I feel like you probably get it in like kids' cartoon shows as well.
Oh yeah. I'll meet this incredibly depressed child.
や